Good morning, Facebook. Good morning. It's good to have everybody here today. This live is for anybody who has ever appreciated um, any kind of fairy tales or any kind of retellings. I know these are two of my favorites from my childhood. I'm somebody who grew up watching Disney, grew up reading some of the classic fairy tales by the Brothers Grimm or by Hans Christian Andersen. And I just loved hearing all of those classic stories where the good guys always win in the end and the evil is overtaken, even though some pretty scary things happen in sometimes in some of these, and pretty sad things happen in some of these. And as you read these as an adult, you'd be like, "Whoa, I can't believe that I loved that as a kid." So we're going to talk today about some different kinds of retellings. If you are somebody who, like me, appreciated those as a child, as a teen, as an adult, and you just like seeing new takes on classic stories, you're going to love this live. If you haven't already done so, please like this video, share this video, tag somebody in this video who you know loves retellings, loves fairy tales, loves classic mythology, because they might find something in this video that they would appreciate. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Gail. I am a bookseller here at New Story Community Books in beautiful downtown Marshall, Michigan. We are a bookstore that specializes in selling both new and used books, as well as literary merchandise and anything that celebrates reading and literacy. So we can also order books. You can reserve books on our website, or you can contact us via email, or you can call us, and you can learn more about some of the titles that we've got here in store that we're able to get for you. We also ship throughout the country. We do free shipping for any orders that are over $40 pre-tax, and we also do free local delivery for anybody who orders $35 worth of material pre-tax and lives in one of the zip codes that is local for us. You can check out our website to figure out if you qualify for free shipping if you are living in one of those areas. I don't remember all of those numbers, and I'm going to say that every single week because Gail is not a numbers person. Let's see, anything else? Oh, yes, that's right. If you would like something while we are doing this live video, you can comment below and we can set that aside for you, or you can go straight to the list that's in the link that should be in the video's title and should also be posted below in one of the comments when someone's able to comment. I don't comment while I'm doing the live videos. Then you can check out the whole list, not just the ones that I'm showing you today, but other ones that you might be interested in, because I had a ton of fun putting together this list, because like I said, I love retellings. I've loved retellings since I was a kid. So this is one of my favorite genres. I think still a favorite genre. When people say, "What do you like to read?" I love to read retellings and see how other people reimagine some of those stories that are so beloved throughout time. So, like I said, you can comment below if you'd like a book while we're live. If you're watching this on replay, you can go to the link and you can reserve those books. Or you can, like I said, reach out to us via phone or via email and we can get those books set aside for you. So, without further ado, let's get started. So this is probably my very favorite retelling, and this might have been the book that kicked off my love of retellings when I was a kid. And I can't believe how old it is because I just read that it's celebrating 25 years. I was like, seriously? But then I remember how old I am, and I'm like, yeah, that probably checks out. So this is Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine or Levine, not sure how the last name is said, but she's got a pretty great first name. Um, yeah, I know. I'm a little biased with that. But this is my very favorite retelling, and this kind of kicked it off for me. This is a retelling of the Cinderella story. So it's got Ella in here. She lives with her dad. Her mom passes away when she's a kid, and Ella was gifted as a baby with the gift by the fairy by a fairy godmother, sort of fairy godmother ish, with the ability or the inability to have her own free will, I guess you could say. She has to do whatever she's commanded to do. So if you told her to sweep the porch, she's going to do it. She has to. She's compelled physically, emotionally, mentally, all of those things. So that's what makes this really interesting. She does have a not so nice stepmother and not so nice stepsisters, and they go to a boarding school and all of these things, and she meets up with friends, and she ends up having a lot of adventures while she's at this boarding school, and through all of this, she meets up with the handsome prince. And then she, of course, originally is like, nope, I'm not having anything to do with him, but they become friends, and then they become more than friends. But she is really worried because she doesn't want to be involved with him, because what if somebody wants to use her against him and says something along the lines of, go kill the prince? She has to do that, right? And so this goes through her journey towards trying to deal with this issue, this problem that she has in her life, and also with her budding feelings for the handsome prince. So I highly encourage. This is great for preteens. It's great for teenagers as well. It's just a fun story. I've reread it multiple times, and this is just one of my very favorite retellings of the Cinderella story. Which I will admit, Cinderella is my favorite fairy tale, but this is one of my favorite renditions of it. Another really great rendition of the Cinderella story that I really appreciated, and even better, guys, it's part of a series, is the book Cinder by Marissa Mayer, or Meyer, I don't know how she says it, I've only ever read it, right? But if you like Cinderella stories and Cinderella retellings, this is one for you. Or if you like steampunk, because that's part of the fun of this. So this is in a reimagined, I think it's somewhere in Asia. It's been a while since I've read this one specifically. But it's in a reimagined futuristic city where there are people and then there are cyborgs, like our lovely Cinder here, who is our main character. And of course, there are robots as well. And cyborgs are the least appreciated. People prefer people or robots, and they don't like people who are combination. And so this is about Cinder, and she has a robot friend, and then she ends up, of course, meeting the prince, and then there's nefarious things that are going on in the kingdom, including a evil stepmother for him, I guess you could say, who's trying to gain some control and gain some power. But this is a really, really great rendition if you like action adventure, if you like strong female leads. This is a good one. Now, this is set for, I'd say it's set for young adult, but I appreciated reading it as an adult. And there are 3 other books in the main series and a couple other spin-offs. And what's fun is that each of the books deals with a different fairy tale retelling. So the second one deals with Little Red Riding Hood. The third one deals with Rapunzel. And then the fourth one deals with Snow White. And I think there's some other ones that are kind of sprinkled in with this. So if you like fairy tale retellings, if you like steampunk, if you like futuristic and strong female leads, definitely, encourage you to pick up Cinder. So here's a little bit more of a contemporary and not so fantasy-esque retelling, but it was recommended to me by other booksellers because I don't necessarily read all the books in this genre. But this author, Jasmine Guillory, once again, I've never actually heard it said. I just read it. But she has been blowing up the romance genre's charts. She's got several different books that are out, and a lot of them feature people of color as their main characters. But this, By the Book, which is one of her most recent releases, this is a retelling of the Beauty and the Beast tale. So you've got your heroine, whose name is Isabel. Belle, yeah, right, you get it right, guys. Isabel, she's a publicist, and she decides there must be more than this publishing life. Oh my gosh, when I'm reading the back of this, guys, laughing at all the references to the Disney Beauty and the Beast, it's fantastic. If you haven't read the back of this book, just do it because it's fantastic. But then she meets up with a gentleman named Beau, who is a very withdrawn and not so kind human being, but they must work together, and as they work together, they start to discover that each one might have been a little bit misunderstood, and there might be a little bit more budding between them than simply a working relationship. And I love that it talks about, it's a reimagining of a tale as old as time, and I'm like, oh my goodness, all the songs start going in my head, guys, from the Disney movie. And now I think that's what I'm going to probably do after work, is go and watch Beauty and the Beast. So, but this is just a really good feel-good version retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So if you like retellings, highly encourage you to check out Beauty and the Beast retelling by Jasmine Guillory by the book. All right. Another really fun excuse me, another really fun retelling or story to be retold is The Little Red Riding Hood. Now, this one I wouldn't say is fun and lighthearted like the one I just showed you, and the other two, the Enchanted and Cinder, both of those are kind of a little bit more on the lighthearted spectrum as well. We're gonna look into some more adult themed retellings, a couple of them that are a little bit darker. And so if you like Little Red Riding Hood, you would probably like Hannah Witton's For the Wolf. Hey, look at that. It's even got Little Red Riding Hood stuff on the front, references to the wolf. It's great. So this book has two daughters. The first one is destined for, ruling and royalty and the high, wonderful life. And then the second one is destined for being sacrificed to the wolf, is what the premise is of this book. And of course, our heroine, Red, I think is her name. Oh yeah, Red, because we are super creative with our names with this. Red is, of course, the second child, and so she is destined to be sacrificed to the wolf. But in this case, the wolf isn't a wolf. The wolf is a guy, and there's some other things going on with him that she has to deal with. So highly encourage you, if you have any kind of penchant or any kind of desire to read a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, check out For the Wolf by Hannah Witton. Another really dark, even darker, I would say, retelling is one that was recently released, and this is a lesser known story. I was familiar with it because as a kid I dog-eared my copy of Grimm's Fairy Tales, and I went through, I think, probably that entire tome, which is, where did I put it? This thick. I didn't have one that was quite this pretty as a kid, but it's there's a lot of stories in there. There's a lot of really good ones, even though they've got scary things that happen in them, and you're like, "Ooh, I can't believe the people told these to their kids as bedtime stories," right? And this is a lesser known one. So this is a retelling of the Juniper Tree, and this is called Juniper and Thorn. Look at that; it's kind of got those echoes to it by Ava Reed. This is a retelling that was also by The Wolf and the Woodsman, which I'm fairly certain is a Hansel and Gretel retelling. Do not quote me on it. I know it's on my list of things to read, but I put it on there a while ago, and I think it's a retelling of Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel, however you want to say it, right? This is a retelling of the Juniper Tree. So in the original story of the Juniper Tree, there's a little boy and his dad. Dad gets remarried. Evil stepmother has a child and is jealous that the little boy is going to inherit all of the things. She starts to scheme how she can get rid of him, and she ends up lopping off his head in a pretty gruesome manner and then trying to hide her crime. And there's a bird that tries to showcase that the little boy was murdered and on all of the things. So it's a pretty gory story, And so this is a retelling of it. So we have a little bit different of a take on it. It's quoted as being perfect for fans of Shirley Jackson and Catherine M. Valente. I've never heard of Catherine Valente, but I've heard of Shirley Jackson. So this has definitely got more of the gothic twist to it. So we've got the girl, Marlinchen, which is the name of the daughter in the original story, and her sisters. They live with their wizard dad. And so they're all magically inclined within this. And then Obla is, sorry, that's the Oblia is the kingdom that they are in, and so then they start having some not so fun things that are occurring to, or that are happening to them while she and her sisters are dealing in the kingdom. So retelling of the Juniper Tree, highly encourage you to check it out by Ava Reed. We got Juniper and Thorn. So this one is a little bit of a stretch, but I really think that anybody who likes fairy tales will like these books. These are some that I recommend, especially if someone wants a grittier retelling or grittier fairy tale, and they're a little bit more modern fairy tales. So I have read Uprooted by Naomi Novik, because I mean, look at that title, look at that cover. That definitely gives you all the fairy tale vibes, right? And I think that it's kind of based in folklore. There's not one specific story that is dealt with within this, but when you read the premise and when you read the book, you're like, I feel like I've heard this story. I feel like I know what should be happening. I know how people should be interacting in this. Feel like I know what's coming next, but then it doesn't always turn out the way that you feel like it's going to be. So I think it's probably steeped in some kind of Eastern European folklore, but do not quote me on that. But this is um, about a girl, Agnieszka, I think is how you say it. I only read it. Oh, once again, I don't know how you actually say it. And she loves her hometown. She loves her little village that she lives in. And the village is protected by a wizard who is known as the dragon. He protects it from the evil that lurks in the woods that's just outside the town. But his price for that is that every decade a young woman must be sacrificed to him, and so he takes her away, and nothing ever is seen of her again. And she knows that it's usually the most beautiful girl in the whole village, and she has I can't remember if it's her sister or best friend, but it's Cassia is the most beautiful woman or most beautiful girl in the village, and so Agnieszka knows that she will be the one to go, and so she is trying to figure out how can she save Cassia because they're really close, and then she's kind of surprised by what the dragon does when he comes in. So it's not a real dragon; it's a person, but he's a wizard, and so he's got lots of powerful things, right? So there's not one, I wouldn't say it's got one fairy tale in it, but it's got a lot of fairy tale like themes in it and a lot of fairy tale settings. So if you like grittier, darker, definitely adult fairy tales, highly encourage you to check out Uprooted or one of Naomi Novik's other books, Spinning Silver. This one gave me a lot of Rumpelstiltskin-esque vibes from it, but once again, it's not fully a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, but it's got a lot of, like I said, fairy tale themes and elements within it. So you've got Miriam, and she is comes from a family of moneylenders, and she starts learning how to spin silver into gold to try to make up for some of the financial issues that her family is going through, and that isn't necessarily always going to be beneficial for her because once you start involving gold and things, guys, it doesn't always go well in fairy tales. But highly encourage you if you like fairy tale retellings. Once again, this one doesn't have just one fairy tale in it, but it's a lot of fairy tale themes, and you want something adult and grittier. Definitely check out Naomi Novik's Spinning Silver or her Uprooted, which I think was her first book that she published that was fairy tale like. She's written other stuff too. All right, last specific fairy tale stuff for me to show you, and then I'm going to show you a couple of retellings of mythology and some more classic tales that are pretty well known. I found this book on the shelf and I thought, this is so much fun. I love it. It looks like a kid's book, but it does have, always there's lots of adult things that you can get out of kids' books, lots of themes, etc. So we've got Gender Swapped Fairy Tales, and it is by Carrie Fransman and Jonathan Plackett. So this is a larger book, but it is just absolutely beautiful in its cover, illustrations. It's got lovely gilt on it, and it's got really pretty illustrations within. Let me see if I can find one. All of the pages have some kind of drawing on them, but where's a big one? Come on, I saw a couple in here. I thought that's so pretty. And now I'm going to look like I don't like it isn't here, but there is. Oh no, that's not one. Oh, there we go. So you got some gender swapped fairy tale stuff where they take the gender of the initial hero or heroine and they switch it around. So for example, they've got the Prince and the Pea in here, and they've got Little Red Riding Hood, but it's a guy, and it's a girl in the beanstalk, etc. So if you like stories that take those old tales and turn them on their heads entirely, and this one modernizes them a little bit. I would highly encourage you to check out this book, Gender Swapped Fairy Tales by Carrie Fransman and Jonathan Plackett. So we're going to switch into some mythology, which I'm a little bit less familiar with, but I know there are a lot of people that love retellings with mythology bases. And this is a pretty popular one. So I highly recommend, if you've not already read it and you like mythology and you like mythological retellings, to check out Cersei by Madeline Miller. She also wrote Song of Achilles, and which we are out of currently in stock, but we are ordering more and we can definitely get one for you. But if you like mythological lore, highly encourage you to check this out. Often there's like feministry, it's a feminist kind of retelling, more feminine focused, I guess you could say. Some of these ones that I'm showcasing are that way, and it also has a more diverse cast of characters than the original stories. So you've got Cersei, and she is banished from her home because she has lots of powers. And she also starts dealing with, or she's banished by Zeus from her home because Zeus does all the things, right? Um, and so she comes up with a lot of different characters that show up in other mythological stories. She comes up against the Minotaur, Daedalus, and Icarus. Um, Daedalus, I don't know how to say it. Just once again, I've just read it. Medea and Odysseus. So lots of different mythological characters that show up in this book. So highly encourage you, if you've not already read Cersei and you really like mythology, check it out. Now I know I talked about this one in a previous live, but it just fit really well with the theme. So because we're out of Ariadne and I read Ariadne, but this is another really great retelling. So if you like mythology retellings, especially from a female point of view perspective, I would check out Jennifer Saint's Electra. This is her most recent publication. Like I said, I read Ariadne, which was a retelling of the Minotaur story from Ariadne's point of view, and this is a retelling of three different women. Clytemnestra, I struggled through these names last time, and Princess Cassandra, that one I can handle, and then Electra, and how they are wounded within their lives, both physically and emotionally and mentally, and then how they overcome the difficulties presented to them not only by society, by men, and by situations and consequences. So, highly encourage you, if you like mythology and you like retellings, check out Electra or anything else by Jennifer Saint. She's got some pretty good stuff. My last mythology one I'm going to showcase for you guys, retelling. There's a couple that I was really surprised when I started going through the shelves. I found a couple that had the same main characters, but this one seemed a little bit more wide appealing, I guess you could say, than some of the other ones that I noticed. So there's been some uptick in retelling the Persephone and Hades story. And so this is one that I thought was pretty interesting. It's called Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. And I remember, I think Persephone and Hades was one of the stories that fascinated me most when I first started learning about mythology back in like middle school, upper elementary school. So this is still, this one is set kind of in a modern, yeah, it's almost a modern retelling, but like even more futuristic-y, alternate reality, I guess you could say. There's a city, there's gambling that occurs, right? You've got Persephone there, and she's got Hades, the god of the dead, has an empire with gambling, etc. And then Persephone finds herself in contract with him. She has to create a new life in the underworld, and then as they start working more with one another, there seems to be a little bit more than just this contract that's between them. So if you like romance and you like retellings of mythology, definitely encourage you to check out A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This is probably a little bit more of a spicy read, I would say, than some of the other ones that I have showcased to you guys. All right, I'm going to switch gears to a little bit, maybe not, I wouldn't say lesser known, but less widely distributed retelling. So I remember when college was the first time I heard of this. I think it's Christine Rossetti's. I can't remember for sure. I didn't look this up before, and sorry guys. But The Goblin Market. It's a poem, which is about sisters, and one is kidnapped by goblins, and the other one must reclaim her and tries to rescue her. And this is kind of a retelling of The Goblin Market. It's called Not Good for Maidens. It's a recent release. It's by, oh my goodness, I can't read that from backwards. Tori Bowalino. I am so sorry, Tori. Tori Bowalino, I think is how you say it. But this is a retelling of Goblin Market. It is technically, I think it's classified as YA, young adult, but it can definitely be more widely distributed. It also has a diverse set of characters, a feminist retelling of this, and I'm pretty sure that the main character is LGBTQ+, not 100% sure because I've not read it myself, but part of that community. But this is a retelling of the Goblin Market story. And so the main character's name is Lou, who is the niece of a woman who fell for a goblin in the Goblin Market, and she is part of a family of witches that take care of those who are affected by the goblins in the Goblin Market. And then Lou, has an aunt who is kidnapped by the goblins herself, and so she has to figure out how she's going to deal with that issue and go and rescue her. So highly encourage you to check out Not Good for Maidens if you like it's more horror and gothic based, so this one definitely has some gore and some icky things that show up within this, but if you like suspense, if you like thrillers and darker retellings, highly encourage you to check out Not Good for Maidens. I am. Oh, good. I see there's people in comments. I haven't checked the comments this entire time. I'm glad. Yeah, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Like I said, like this video, tag people in it. Appreciate it. Yeah, if you're interested in any of the titles, let me know. I see there's some people who said they put some of these on their to be read lists, and that is fantastic. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and so I'm going to move away from mythology, and I'm going to move away from the Goblin Market. No more Goblin Market retellings that I know of that we have in store, guys. And I'm going to talk a little bit of some retellings that are near and dear to my heart, which is from a long dead but very well known author, someone called William Shakespeare, good old Billy Shakes as I like to call him on occasion to make my students roll their eyes. But these are some retellings from Shakespeare's well known and classic tales. I know I'm a sucker for the Romeo and Juliet tragedy, and that is my favorite. I know I'm so basic, guys, but that's my favorite of the plays that I've read from him. And this is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet story, which yes, I know it's in like a zillion jillion different books, but this is a really cool retelling. It's called These Violent Delights. It's part of, I think it's a duology. I know there's a second book, and it is by, oh my goodness, by Chloe Gong. So this is a retelling in the 1920s Shanghai, and this features gangs in Shanghai with that are opposing sides, right? So we've got our main character Juliet Kai on one side. She's a former flapper, and she has now returned to her family to be the sole, I guess you could say, sole leader of the Scarlet Gang. And then on the opposite side, the opposing side, we have Roma Montagoff. Isn't that great, guys? Montagues and the Capulets. Oh my goodness, I love it so much. Anyway, who's on the opposite side? Who is his own? Is part of the White Flowers. Is the other gang. So we got the Scarlet Gang and the White Flowers. We got some colors going on here, right, guys? And so they start to they're on opposite sides of all the things, and then suddenly there's an issue where people on both sides of this conflict who are starting to come down with a kind of madness, a kind of an illness that's going on, and so have to figure out what's actually happening to the people that they know and they love. So I know there's a second one. Don't remember what it's called. It has a similar cover but red, and something I think violent, something else too. But there's a second book if you like Romeo and Juliet. Highly encourage you to check out this book. It is, I think technically it's classified as young adult, but it definitely has some more adult themes that occur in it too. The last one I'm going to show you with some more William Shakespeare influences, and it's technically two. They're both by the same author though, so it's cool to showcase these ones. And I can't tell you fully what it's about because it's a choose your own adventure, guys, and that's what's fantastic about it. So I've got two of them. I'm going to show you the Romeo and Juliet one first. It's actually not just Romeo and Juliet. It's called Romeo or Juliet. So you've got your main characters, and it's just a choose your own adventure, but for young adults and for adults too, it starts off with your classic Romeo and Juliet setup, and then you start making choices and see what happens, who ends up with who survives and who doesn't, right? It's by Ryan North, a choosable path adventure, so we call them choose your own adventure, but it's essentially the same thing, right? So you can go through and then you make your decision, right? So you go and you turn to page 394. I'm kidding, I don't think there's 394 pages of this, but based off of what you have picked, then you go to that page. There's lots of illustrations throughout. So we put this under graphic novels, but it's kind of it's a lot of things. It's just cool, is what it is, guys. It's cool. So you got a more diverse cast of characters than you would have had in the original play. But I highly encourage you to check it out. See if you see who lives, who dies, who ends up together, all of those things, right? I am personally pulling for Mercutio to survive because he is my favorite of all of the characters in Romeo and Juliet. And if you end up liking Romeo and Juliet, or if you want something else, it's another Choosable Path adventure by Ryan North. We also have To Be or Not to Be. Because it's the line, right, guys? From Hamlet. And so this is a very similar setup. So you've got Ryan North's To Be or Not to Be. So it starts off with your Hamlet setup, and then you go through and you determine who lives, who dies. It does have lots of. This one has a few more illustrations, I would say, in it than the last one, which is kind of fun. But this one doesn't have colors. The other one had some color, and this one is all just black and white. But still, really, really cool. So if you like Choose Your Own Adventures for young adults/adults, if you like Hamlet or know anybody who likes Hamlet and wants a retelling, I would definitely encourage you to check out To Be or Not to Be by Ryan North. All right, guys, well, that wraps it up for me. There are a few other retellings that I've got on the shelves over here, too, but I'm not going to go through all of those because I don't know as much about those. But if you liked the books that were showcased in this live, like I said, like this video, tag people in it, share it, and check out the list that is posted in the live's title up at the very top, and like I said, it should be in one of the comments. If it's not, it will be after this live is done, and I can post it for you guys. A couple of things for you to keep on your radar for us. We have sidewalk sales going on today and tomorrow, August 6th, August 6th and August 7th. So we're going to have a table out front. It's got $2 to $5 books on there. Last chance to get those. Snag those up. Got lots of classics on there. Got lots of brand new books on there. And a lot of really cool not as well known, I would say, fiction and nonfiction that's out there. We also have a really awesome sale going on right now. 5 books for $5. We have a fixture of brand spanking new books. If you buy 5 books from there, you get them each for $1. If you don't buy 5 books, then you're their regular cover price, which just go get them for $5, guys. They're great gifts. They're great books to bring to the beach, or ones if you don't care about what happens to them, great ones to throw into your bags too. Right? Think Christmas is coming up, guys. I know it seems like it's so far away, but it's not. A couple other places that you'll be able to see us this month. We will still be at the Battle Creek Farmers Market, downtown Battle Creek, every Wednesday. And we are planning to be at the Breaking Bread Bazaar at the end of August as well, which is held by Cafe Rica in downtown Battle Creek. And keep your eyes peeled on social media and check out our newsletter. Get signed up for that if you're not already. For more information, we are going to be hosting an adult book fair in Battle Creek in September. So stay tuned for that. And we look forward to seeing you guys at those. A couple of sales that we've got going on besides those cool deals. We do have all of our graphic novels and manga. Today is the last day for you to get those on sale. And then next week we start our fantasy and sci-fi sale. All fantasy and sci-fi books in store will be on sale, kind of in preparation for the upcoming Game of Thrones series that'll be out and Lord of the Rings series that will be out as well. So make sure that you stock up if you're somebody who likes fantasy and or sci-fi. Yes, I know they are 2 different categories entirely. So thanks so much, guys, for watching. Like I said, like and tag people, or like this video, tag it, share, tag people, share this video, interact with it. Let us know in the comments if there are other great retellings that we should have on our list or that I should have showcased that I didn't, because we would love to know more. But thanks so much for watching, guys, and make sure that you keep us in mind when you're looking for your next news story. Bye, guys.